What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another amazing Naruto story. What if Naruto found the Omnitrix? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description box to original creator of this beautiful creation. Within the vast sea of darkness and stars there stood two beings. Two women, one with white hair and sundress barefoot with fair skin and pure blue eyes. The other with pitch black hair and cocktail dress and with tanned skin and intense red eyes. You continue to run. To what? To where? The red-eyed woman asked. Why would I answer you? My pure opposite, she asked, you who kill. You who destroy. You who is evil. You who is darkness. Darkness laughed with pure joy as if wit-hired woman told a joke. Yes, because that is who you are. You who live. You who build. You who is good. You who is light. So we start, our battle starts once more, Light said as she glowed with light so bright it looked like a new star had been born. It took the form of a sphere. Indeed, Darkness agreed as the shadows started to coalesce around her and started to eat at the light around her as it took the form of a tetrahedron. The avatars just stood there. Then light and darkness start to attack each other and then nothing. No light, no darkness, just nothing, and then every star, every planet. We start once more, both women say. Modern day, Sol system, outer space. Two spaceships was flying now, the system firing at each other. One with a navy and green ship flying above, it looked alien and elegant. The other one is gray with some orange energy in it. It looked like something from the pits of hell, and this is the Chimeran Hammer. Chimeran Hammer. A dark figure is sitting on a throne with humanoid beings surrounding his on consoles, and in front of it is a screen with the navy and green ship. Lord Vilgax? One of the beings called to the dark figure, shall we continue firing? Vilgax turned to the one that spoke, showing that it had dark red eyes. Yes, shoot out the engines. Then draw them in. It's been for too long and I've come to be denied. No one can stop me from achieving my goal. Outer space. The Chimeran Hammer starts to gather energy in the front of it and shoots the other ship. Planet Earth, land of fire, Konoha. In the village Konoha, or Hidden Leaf Village, there was a blonde-haired, tan skin, blue eyes, and 6 whiskers like marks on his face, dressed in an orange jumpsuit. He is Naruto Uzumaki and he is currently being chased 10 by men and women in armor and masks, the Anbu Black Ops. But something was wrong. They had neon-colored hair. Get back here! An Anbu with tiger mask and orange hair with black stripes as he tried to catch him and turned to the others, pincer formation. Usagi, rabbit, Keiru, frog, Taka, hawk, Supaida, spider, you go left. Kuma, bear, Shishi, lion, Saru, monkey, Hubby, snake, you go right. Neko, cat, you and I are going, we'll keep going and make his think that you 8 have been called back, the tiger mask Anbu said. Sir, Shishi said as she had yellow and light brown hair. Yes, he's gone, Neko said as she is the only one that not had her hair dyed. And he had indeed had diapered, not there. Fuck, Tiger said. Konoha, Hokage Tower, Hokage's office. An old man was sitting behind a desk with so much paperwork on it, it could make it look like he was trying to build a tower of paperwork. This man was the 3rd Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi. He was alone in his office until there was an orange blur that soon revealed to be Naruto in front of him. So how was the test? The Hokage asked. They failed, Naruto said with a sad look on his face as he looked at the Hokage. I snuck into the Anbu hideout. I moved to Team Omicron and dyed the hair of 9 out of 10 of them. I see. How bad was it? The Hokage said with a sad smile on his face, out of 10. 1 being extremely minor change and 10 being a major change. 20. This shocked the Hokage, and before he could speak the 10 Anbu appeared in the office and see both the Hokage and Naruto with a sad look on their faces, and before they could speak. Naruto, how long were you in the Anbu base? The Hokage asked with the Anbu looking confused. 35 minutes, Naruto said as the Anbu was starting to get it. How long did they chase you before you got bored? The Hokage asked as they started to feel it more and more. 1 hour, 45 minutes and 35 seconds. He said now the Anbu was hanging their heads. How bad is it? He asked. They are all arrogant that they think no one can get in without them noticing. It was out to kill or poison them, it would have been easy, Naruto said looking at them. But I can name 3 Anbu that have passed the test, Naruto said with a smile. Oh really? The Hokage said raising their brow. Who? Neko, Ian, dog, and Okami, wolf, Naruto said. The reason Okami is always on edge when on duty. Ian always looks underneath to see if anything is there. And Neko is the one that found me before I could change her shampoo for dye. This shocked all the Anbu in the room. Tora, Tiger, I want all Anbu to start to fix all the problems that were shown today. Hiruzen Sarutobi said to him. First start to train some sensors to be on watch in front of the Anbu headquarters. Have both Hyuga and Inuzuka with the guards. Yes sir, he said. Neko, you, Ian and Okami have earned something. Me, my children, grandchild, my personal Anbu, and Naruto is going camping. I would like the three of you to join us, he said, and the rest of the Anbu just slumped because of the tales of the camping stories. Sir, is it okay if I invite my friends Kurenai Yuhi, Anko Mitarashi, Hana Inuzuka, and Sume Inuzuka, she asked. That is fine, he said. 25 minutes from Konoha, the forest. Naruto made his tent and sat down to meditate as he then felt someone pull his arm, and it was the grandson of the third Hokage Konohamaru. Ni-san, the young boy asked. Yes. Kono, Naruto asked. Can you help me put my tent up? He asked as Naruto looked behind him as the adults were putting up their tents. Alright, Naruto helps him. After a few hours there was a fire going and the stories going, but Naruto decided to go for a walk. Neko, go with him, the fire shadow said as she got up to follow the small boy. Her four friends followed her. The first was a woman with dark purple hair, a long tanned trench coat fish net covering her body and a dark orange skirt. She had fair skin and brown eyes. And this is Anko Mitarashi. The second was a woman with long black hair, a white battle dress with a red sleeve on her right arm and raping on both her hands. She had fair skin with crimson eyes. And this is Kurenai Yuhi. The next was she was wearing shorts and a chunin vest that she could not zip up. She also has 2 fang marks on her face. Light brown hair, black eyes and 3 hounds. They were Hana Inuzuka and the Haimaru triplets. The final woman was the tallest out of all 5 of them. She was in a full jonin clothing with black instead of blue. She also had the fang marks on her face with dark brown hair. Black eyes. Was Sume Inuzuka, mother to Hana Inuzuka, and like her daughter, she had fair skin. Alongside her was her dog partner Kuromaru. Outer space. The battle raged on as the Navy and Green ship was taking server damage and the Chimeran hammer was nearly on top of it. In the Navy and Green ship. This Xylene, I need help. Vilgax is after the Omnitrix. I repeat, Vilgax is after the Omnitrix, said a female voice, and then the sound of a saw blade was cutting down the door. A robot emerged from the broken door and it was destroyed by a green laser blast. Xylene, launch the Omnitrix and then escape. I will set the ship to self-destruct, a male voice told her. But Asmu, no, we need you and we need the Omnitrix, and soon the ship was starting to glow and flash red. Chimeran hammer, get ready to shoot at the mid-section of the ship, Vilgax said. Before they could shoot, 2 pods were shoots from the opposing ship. One was a stasis pod, the other was sphere. There it is, Vilgax said, pointing at the sphere, actor. And before he could finish what he was saying, the opposing ship exploded. Earth, the forest, 25 minutes from Konoha. As Naruto and the 5 women were walking through the forest, while Naruto was walking, he saw a shooting star and it was heading for them. Get down, Naruto yelled at the 5 kunoichi as he falls to the floor, and so did they. It zooms over their head deep into the forest. Boom. The meteor boomed through the forest and the 6 of them ran to the crash zone, and there was a metallic roly-poly that looked like it was rolled up. What is it? Anko asked as they moved but ground under Naruto as he slides to the canter of the pit. You okay? The oldest of the ones here asked. Yay, Naruto said, getting up and slowly walked over to it, and it started to open. It's opening, he called over his shoulder as the 5 women got ready to attack. When it was fully open, it was a red wristwatch with a red hourglass symbol in the middle. Ben 10 Alien Force Omnitrix. What's in it? Neko asked, drawing her katana out of its sheath. A watch, Naruto said, walking over to it, reaching out to grab it, and it jumped onto his wrist and he fell back trying to tear the watch off him as the 5 women joined. And it still would not come, but someone pressed the sides of it and a hologram of showing a humanoid being with a hood. Big chill. What the? Anko asked as she studied the hologram. Naruto twisted the dial and it changed to a humanoid that looked to be circuits over its body with one eye. Upgrade. Another turned a manta ray with arms and legs with 2 horns, jet ray. He turned it one more time and this one showed a humanoid made of rock and fire, heat blast, and he was about to push it down but his hand was grabbed by Neko. "We don't know what it does," she said to him. "But it stuck to him," Anko said, pushing it down herself, and then a light engulfed Naruto, with the women shielding their eyes. Within the light, Naruto starting to grow molten rock over his body and clothes before his body burst into flames, and in the middle of his chest was a dial with her hourglass. And he yelled as the light faded, "Heat blast, OC heat blast." Naruto. Neko yelled only to see this fire thing in front of her that yelled, "Heat blast, where is Naruto?" She yelled at him. "It's me, Neko," he said, not realizing 3 things. 1. He was the same size as her. 2. He was a flaming being made of fire and molten rock. 3. His voice had changed. "You not Naruto, he was a human," Kuromaru said, growling at it. Heat blast started to look at itself before it did the most rational thing someone would do in this situation, and that was, "Ah." He screamed and started to roll on the ground to put himself out. "Is this thing Naruto?" Neko asked the others before a fire erupted as Naruto was still rolling around. "I have a way to see if this is Naruto," she said to the other women. "We have ramen," and as if it was lightning Naruto stopped, sat up, and the flames made fox ears and tail. "I got this," the older Inuzuka said, going thou, Sweden no jutsu, water release. Water bullet technique, she said, spitting out a large amount of water, putting out the fire. "Okay, let's get back to the Hokage to see if he knows what to do," she said as they walked back, making sure that Naruto does not make another forest fire. Hokage campsite. As they were sitting down eating, Neko walked out of the forest. "Neko, where is Naruto?" the Hokage asked. "Well, you see," she said, as Naruto and the others walked out of the forest, "Naruto turned into that fire thing." "What?" said one of the Anbu in the camp. "What happened?" Hiruzen asked Naruto as he sat on a rock, and so they told them everything, from the pod, to the watch sticking to his wrist, to his turning into heat blast. "Ryu, dragon, came, turtle, find that pod and bring it here." The 2 dropped to their knee and jumped to it. When Naruto was sitting, he has seen that the fire dying, so he put his hand in the fire to make it bigger, as he brought his hand out and looked at it and tried to something with the fire. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Neko asked. "While I'm like this, I might see if I can control fire," he said as a fireball was made in his hand, and using all his will the fireball was starting to change into a serpentine dragon that wrapped around his arm before a beeping noise started to sound as the hourglass started to flash between red and blue before a blue flash of light engulfed him, and he was now one again human. Chimeran hammer. The Chimeran hammer was surrounded by water, in a deep ocean at the border of the lands of fire and water. Inside the ship was a mangled mode inside a tube with robots trying to put it back together. "WH. The body said in the broken voice of Vilgax. "Lord, Vilgax, you're awake," he heard thou the tube. The voice was distorted because of the liquid that he was in. "Sir, your body was severely damaged. He need to augment some cybernetics into you to heal you," the voice said as it started to get more clear each time. "Where is the Omnitrix?" he asked. "Sir, it is 45 miles from us," the drone said. "Send some drones, 2 small, 1 large," he said before falling into a slumber. Outside the ship a hatch opened and 2 robots flew out, and a larger one dose as well, but it was slower than the other one. Hokage campsite. The 2 Anbu had returned with the pod, with the Hokage examining it and Naruto still trying to take off the watch, and the hourglass was now red once again. "Ni-san, can you turn into something else?" Konohamaru asked as he looked at the watch. "Now Kono," Naruto started saying before the Hokage turned to him. "I would like to see if you have other forms with that watch," he said, and Naruto just nodded and activated it, showing heat blast. He turned the dial to show a dog. And so he showed the Hokage and then pressed on the dial, and then the flash of light. Naruto's body started to glow orange fur that starts to cover his entire. He grows gills on both sides of his head and grows nails. With the dial of the watch on armor plated on his arm. "OC Wildmutt," he roared. When the light died down, it showed Naruto in his new form. "Wildmutt, huh, not a bad name," Sume said, looking at the new form, and Naruto turns to her to show that he is blind but he can see, thou sound and smell. He then turns his head to the side and found 2 large discs flying at them. "Roar," Naruto roared out. Sume and Hana looked at what he was seeing. What is that? Kurenai said, seeing what they were seeing. They unfold into robots, Ben 10 Vilgax drones, and guns are folded out, with Naruto growling and then standing in front of Konohamaru defending him. Omnitrix. Found. They said, charging up, and before they could fire, Naruto jump at them and cuts the gun off one of them while riding it. Neko jumped at them, cutting at them, joining Naruto on the drone, but it shacks them off, but it blows up because of the cuts to it. We need a plan, the Hokage said, getting ready to summon Enma as Naruto gets up, and then he gets an idea and goes over to Naruto and slaps the dial, and then Naruto is engulfed in a flash of light, replacing him with a moth-like human with the wings that fold up into a cloak. Alien Force. Big chill. Big chill, he yells out, and before the drone could shoot at him he flew up into the air and flew through him, turning it into ice. Okay, how I did do that, Naruto said as his wings folded back around him. I would say instinct, the Hokage said, then before he could examine this new form of Naruto, a bigger pod dropped down and unfolded into a 3 feet robot. Subject. Necrophrygion, it said, looking at Naruto before raising an arm and started shooting at him. So he started to fly around, giving the ninja a target. Kaden. Goinkyu, fire release, great blaze ball. Ryu called out, breathing out a massive fireball. Futon. Kiryu Ranbu, wind release. Air current, wild dance, said the son of the third, held out his palm, shooting out a large gust of wind. Reiso. Ikazuki no Utage, lightning burial, banquet of lightning. Neko said, stabbing their sword into the ground, releasing lightning bolts that merge with the fireball and wind blast to make a massive lightning fireball, and when it hits it explodes. They wait for the smoke to clear and it shows that the robot is singed, and before it could attack, Naruto starts to think. Gigi did, and I turned into Big Chill, so let's try it. And when he pressed the dial he turned into a large bipedal dinosaur that roared his name, Humongosaur. And then he started to grow as his armor started to bulk up. And then he started to wail on the robot, but what they didn't know was that this was being filmed by the robot and be sent to the ones that sent it. Naruto ripped off its arm and started using it as a club to beat it. As it raised its second arm, Naruto grabbed that one and uses its claw so stab it in the dead, destroying it. Chimeran hammer. Back in the ship, Vilgax was watching how his drones were being destroyed. Some worm has the Omnitrix, I will destroy them and their weak village, he said, getting angrier and angrier, and the video looped. I swear I will destroy this worm, kept the Omnitrix away from me. Hokage campsite. I think it's, Naruto started saying before, beep, 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 and he turns back to formal, dead, he finishes. Omnitrix, the third said, that's what it called, the watch. We need to know more, but I do know one thing, Naruto said. What is that? Anko asked him as he looks to the sky at the start. We're not alone. It had not been long since the robots crashed, but Naruto was still confused about what had happened. Gigi, what do you make of this? Naruto asked the Hokage as he looked. Make of what? He asked the young boy. Me turning into aliens, robots attacking, someone out there trying to get this thing, the Omnitrix, on my wrist. Naruto said, still looking out the window before turning to the Hokage. Take your pick. Well, to you turning into aliens, well, you will need some training on what to do. The robots, well, that depends, he said. On what? Naruto asked. If we can see if we could recreate them or integrate their weapons to defend the village, and for your last question. We find them, interrogate them, and then take them out, the Hokage said. Border of lands of fire and water, seafloor, chimeran hammer. The drones were walking around trying to fix their master and the hammer. Lord Vilgax, what do we do now? A drone asked. Where is the nearest land? His voice boomed. The drone zoomed in on the map of the earth, and a red dot was flashing, and part of the land was connected to the area, and then the Omnitrix Wilder was in. This is it, sir. It is called the land of, the drone said before sparking and continuing. The land of noodles. Send out ZWLB-01 to get and control someone to use it and then attack this, Konoha. The mangled alien said. Yes, sir. Chimeran hammer robot bay. In the bay was a large number of pods, and one opened. A robotic silver tiger fell out of the seed. Its eyes glowed an eerie yellow before sprinting off. Land of fire, Konoha, training ground 30. Naruto, with some other ninja, was walking around and getting Naruto trained in using the Omnitrix. Okay. Naruto turned into the first alien you turned into, the Hokage ordered. He nodded, activated the Omnitrix, turned to Heat Blast, and pressed it down, and after a flash of light, Naruto, now a flaming, molten rock alien, shouted, "Heat Blast." "Why do you yell?" asked a man with his hair like a pineapple. He had tan skin, dark eyes and a goatee. In addition, he had 2 scars on the right side of his face. "This man is the Junin commander Shikaku Nara. I think that my name changed," he said, asked when he started to walk around. "So what can you do?" Shikaku Nara asked. "From what I know, I control fire, and I think that I can absorb fire," Naruto said. Then Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire release. Great fireball technique, called out the Hokage as he breathed out a ball of fire at Naruto. After a few seconds, the flames were being sucked into Naruto. Land of Noodles. ZWLB-01 was staking a caravan to find the perfect host, and after a few more minutes of staking, it found its prey. She has silver and gray hair that goes up into cat-like ears. She has green eyes with large frame glasses. As she walked away from the caravan, it pounced. "Ah!" she screamed. She walked out of the forest. She now had yellow eyes. Silver armor goes up to her arm. Within her hand was a sword with ZWLB-01 tiger body made into the blade. "Must find Omnitrix," the girl said in a dead tone before disappearing in a lightning bolt. Land of Fire, Konoha, Training Ground 30. Naruto was back into the third alien that turned into the moth-like humanoid, Big Chill. As he was flying around, he was getting used to it, and when he was about to change again, his danger senses went off and turned intangible so that a bolt of lightning would not hurt him. They all turned to the bolt of lightning, which turned into a young girl. "Who are you?" asked an Anbu with a dragon mask. "I am ZWLB-01, and I'm here for the," she said before Naruto phased through her, freezing her solid. "You talked amok. So, cool off," Naruto said, solidifying, but then her form vibrated. Then the lightning spewed from the blade and destroyed the ice. "Okay, that's cool," Naruto said, then a beeping noise before a flash, and he was human once more. "Oh he was saying before dodging arcs of lightning flying at him. "Naru." The Hokage started but then saw Naruto's eyes and, for a split second, had rings in them before disappearing, so that is what he meant. Hokage Tower, Konoha, 10 years ago March 2nd. Sitting in the Hokage office was an older version of Naruto, but without the whiskers. This is Minato Namikaze, 4th Hokage. "Minato, I hear you have a child." A younger the 3rd Hokage said. "Yes, I'm happy jet sad," he said, looking at the older Hokage. This shocked the older man. "Why is that?" he asked. "When they're born, I hope my blood doesn't mess with them," Minato said. "How would it?" Hiruzen asked. "Uzumaki clan has the ultimate Kekai Genkei, the eyes of the Sage of Six Paths, the Rinnegan, and if my blood messes with it, it could awaken and seal over and over again. And it could kill them," Minato said. Present day. Naruto was dodging the lightning arcs with his eyes still awake and sealing. And as he was going to aid his honorary grandson and summoned his partner Enma. "Sarutobi, what is it you need?" he asked. "Transform. We are aiding my grandson," the Hokage said with a new fire in his eyes and a will Enma had not seen in a long time. "All right, Henge. Konganyoi, transformation. Adamantine staff," he called out as he transformed into a large staff. And soon, he joins the fray. "Gigi, don't hurt the girl, go for the sword." Naruto called for him as his eyes were still going through their cycle. And then they stopped, and he started to fly thou hand seals. Futon. Renkuden, wind release. Drilling air bullet. Naruto shot out a massive orb of air, flying at the girl. It had knocked back the girl and, with Naruto going thou more hand seals. Raiden. Gion, lightning release. False darkness. Spitting out a lightning spear at the sword. Naruto started going through more seals. Doden. Yomi Numa, earth release. Swamp of the underworld. He said, slamming the ground and making thick and sticky mud. The 3rd Hokage starts to try to separate the sword from the girl as the dragon-masked Anbu moves in with Shikaku Nara, trying to make a plan. "Naruto, why attack the sword, not the girl?" the Nara asked. "The lightning came from the sword, not her," he said, going through more hand seals and stopping at the seal of the bird. Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu, water release. Water dragon bullet technique. He drew the water from the air to make a massive Eastern-style dragon. It started to fly at the girl. But she cut it in two with this blade and called, Sonda Kiba, Thunderfang, as she released an arc of lightning at the four ninjas. Kaden. Kitsunebi, Fire Release, Foxfire. Naruto called as 9 flames appeared in front of him, and he thrust his hand out. All 9 flames flew out at the girl, and the Omnitrix turned from blue back to red. Alright. Naruto turns to the hologram of Humanosaur and slams down on it, and like in every universe that has an Omnitrix, it does not give a flying fuck what its user wants, so Naruto starts gaining circuit-like lines that begin to run over his body. His skin starts to turn black with a red stomach, and his eyes merge into one circle. And this forms yells in a synthesized voice, upgrade. Heroes united but red instead of green. He blinked one eye, looked over his body, and said the one thing on his mind, fuck. Then, as the girl was going to attack, Naruto shot out our red beam from his eye and kept walking forward. Naruto, what are you doing? The Hokage asked. Naruto jumped at the girl and started to possess the sword as it turned black with red circuits running over it, and the blade began to let the girl go. Mind of ZWLB-01. Human Naruto was floating in a wide open space before it took the form of a large face with crimson eyes. A child, it says, the wielder of the most powerful weapon in the universe is in the hands of a child. And what do? You save. Its eyes zone in on him. I will take it from you. And I will destroy everything you love. Naruto was thrown out of its mind. Chimeran Hammer. Wipe the mind of ZWLB-01, Vilgax called out. Sir, the drone said, doing as it asked. Send out the others, the evil mastermind said. Chimeran Hammer Robot Bay. 11 pods open, and they all set out throughout the world. Land of Fire, Root Base. A hovering arch was flying towards its host, not knowing it was being tracked. Land of Demons. A chimera was flying overhead and found the target it was looking for. Land of Wolves. A two-headed eagle was flying over and then dive-bombed a human. Land of Stone. A golden wolf was hunting someone before lunging. Land of Forests. A lion was running through the deep forest and then striking. Land of Flames. A red bird was flying before diving. Land of Fire, Capital City. A horse was galloping and then jumped at its target. Border of Lands of Fire and Waterfall. A pair of wings was flying before getting shot down. Land of Waves. A serpentine dragon was flying. It found a small man and struck at him. Land of Sea. A unicorn was running through the fields, and with its horn glistening, it found its user. Sea of Orcus, Land of Sharks. A tortoise was swimming, then zooming in on a diver. Chimeran Hammer. Lord Vilgax, the weapons have found their users. A drone said. Evil laughter erupted from him. Then, booming from him, good. This is good. Land of Fire, Konoha, Training Ground 30. Naruto was still on the sword getting some information, while the girl was knocked out from it and got out of the sword and, beep. Beep, beep, and then after a flash of light, Naruto was human. GG. I got some info from this sword, Naruto said, taking the sword from the girl. The thing in charge wiped its memory on where it came from. Did you get anything from it? Shikaku Nara asked. Yes, but it's confusing, Naruto said. What isn't? Well, I have blueprints. Star maps. Planet names. Alien race names. Naruto said, holding a USB. How'd you get that? Ryu asked. I made it with upgrade out of some of ZWLB-01's pieces, Naruto said, looking at it, and then they heard a groan. Where am I? She asked. Konoha, Naruto said. What's the last thing you remember? The Hokage asked the young girl. Well, I was with the caravan. I went to get a bit of water, and then I was attacked by a metal tiger attacked me, was what she said. You mean this tiger, Naruto said, stabbing the sword into the ground as it became a tiger once more, and the girl started to back up. Don't worry, the evil in it has been destroyed, Naruto said to the girl. It has? The girl asked with her voice shaky. Yes, Naruto said, calming the girl. What's your name? He asked. Kathy Catherine, she said, looking at the tiger that had possessed her. What is that? As she pointed at it. A form of a living weapon. It's not from this world, Naruto said, turning to her. Its weapon name is ZWLB. It has chosen you as its wielder, its master, its owner, Naruto said. Why me? The girl asked. Only you can answer that, Naruto said. The tiger walked over to her and sat on its haunches. They looked into each other's eyes, and the girl found the answer. "I'm a free spirit," is what she said. The Hokage smiled and then got a serious look on his face. "Kathy, what is it you want to do?" he asked her. She was thinking, and her new partner nudged her shoulder. "Can I join your village and be a ninja?" she asked the Hokage. He nodded and called to Ryu, "Take her over to my office and wait for me there," he told the dragon-masked Anbu. "Sir," he saluted before holding on to Kathy and her tiger and using Shunshin, body flicker, to the Hokage's office. "Naruto, those jutsu," he started. "I don't know 1 minute, and I think I need help. Then I get 5 jutsu and their hand seals. They fly into my mind on how to use it and to do it." "I see, then Naruto has to tell you that I have the Kyuubi sealed with me." "I know," Naruto said to the old man. "How did you find out?" the Nara asked. "Simple. First, you have my birthday on October 10th. Then people around my age are told that Lord Fourth killed the Kyuubi, but you can't kill Chakra, and even if he did, it would take 9 years for it to be reborn. So the next best thing to do is seal it in a newborn baby," Naruto said, looking at the Junin commander. "And finally, the hate I get from the villagers itself points to it," Naruto said, then turned to the Hokage. "But I do have one question. Why me? And don't lie. I can tell a lie from the truth." "If I tell you, it would be too dangerous," the Hokage said. "I'm already in danger because of this." Naruto pointed at the Omnitrix. "He's right," Shikaku Nara said, butting in, "we all deserve to know." The old man looked at Naruto and Shikaku and sagged, "You're right. Both of you are right." "Naruto, what did I tell you today?" "I will tell the village tomorrow," he said before taking a deep breath. "Your father's name is Minato Namikaze, son of my students Jiraiya Namikaze and Tsunade Senju. Your mother is Kushina Uzumaki, Queen of the Whirlpools, a title you now own," he said, socking both of them with Naruto fainting. Deep space. A massive orb was flying through space, and then it just stopped and turned in the direction of the earth. "He will help us both," a gentle voice said as a beam of light shot out of it, and it was heading for one destination. One person to hold her light, Naruto Uzumaki. Planet Earth, Land of Fire, Konoha. After Naruto awoke after being told about his father, he was the 4th Hokage, the Yellow Flash, the only man with the on-site flea order, Minato Namikaze, son of Toad and Slug Sanin. While his mother, Kushina Uzumaki, Queen of the Whirlpools, daughter of Daisetsu Uzumaki, the 3rd Azukage and Nakama Uzumaki, the dark-bladed queen. Naruto lay on his bed and just stared at the ceiling. "What do I do?" Naruto asked the emptiness, hoping for an answer from either the Kyuubi or the Omnitrix. But neither spoke, and he shut his eyes. Deep space, Sol system, Nessus. A beam of light flies over a planet with a mix of both machine and plant. A human-sized robot with one red eye. It had a white fluid in its stomach, and slowly, more and more of these looked up at this. Earth, Konoha, Naruto's apartment. Naruto was eating some breakfast ramen, and his eyes moved to a package on the table that Anbu had brought him not that long ago. After he started to think about what it was, he decided to open it. Inside was a Haori, a crimson Haori with black flames at the bottom. Deep space, Sol system, moon of Satan, Titan. The light beam flies through the sky and the seas of Titan, and a gigantic worm-like being emerged from the water and looks upon it. Earth, Konoha, Naruto's apartment. Naruto was showering, getting ready for bed, his mind still drifting back to his new Haori. And how he looked with it on. He was now even more confused. What is he to do? Where does he go from here? Deep space, Sol system, asteroid belt, the reef. As the light passed overhead, a woman on a throne had white hair, blue skin and glowing blue eyes. Said mused as she watched the light fly. Earth, Konoha, Naruto's apartment. Naruto went into his PJs, went down for rest, and slowly drifted to sleep. Deep space, Sol system, Mars. As the light zoomed past Mars, a gigantic worm rose from the sand, looking upon it in pure unbridled hatred. It said. Deep space, Sol system, Moon. The light shined over the moon, and as it passed, screeching started to erupt as a demonic creature walked out and stared at it before turning around. Earth, Konoha, Naruto's apartment. Naruto was fast asleep in his bed and alone in his apartment when that beam of light appeared in his room, taking the form of a feminine figure. So young, yet so needed, she said as she brushed some of his hair out of his face as a mother would, and then she started to fade into him. Naruto's dream. Naruto has the same dream that he has had since he had the Omnitrix. It is neither a good nor bad dream. It has him standing in a thick mist, and surrounding him were his alien forms and shadowed forms. Then stood amused his alien forms were numerous versions of him. One with purple eyes with rings in it, then the purple turned red, and 9 tome appeared in it. The next was glowing in golden flames with his seal visible, his whiskers as thick black lines, and his eyes red and slit. The next had 9 black orbs floating, being him in a circle, rectangular eyes, hair made of a golden chakra with his haori made of the same golden chakra, with a full body black jumpsuit. The fourth had a pure black dato in his hands, while behind him was a black-haired teenager with a long black overcoat. His face held no emotion. Another had a silver and blue bow in his hands. And another has a massive white bipedal wolf with what looks to be veins of fire and eyes with burning red eyes. Yet another with 6 small beings flying around him, and this one had a smile on his face. Another held 2 metallic cylinders, and then one spouted a red blade, and the other had a blue one. Another sat upon a large black widow. Another is flanked by creatures, not aliens but monsters, and he holds a smile. Yet another wore a glove on his left hand, and the glove emitted some power that we had never felt. One turned into a giant black and orange reptile. One sat upon a large lion-like machine, with a dragon-type machine by that one. The next one had an orange flame atop his head, with a look of a peace on his face. Another sat upon a small black dragon, and it had green eyes. Another had a magic circle beneath his feet with a sharp look in his eyes. One had a mask made of bone that looked like a demon with red markings. The next one had white horns, with a black katana on his head. One had armor made of bones with a small sword on her back. Another had a large ring that hung from his neck. One held a mark of a dragon's head on his arm. One was holding a flaming hammer with an eagle. The one next to him had a sizable flaming maul. Another has a shield made of some purple energy. The next one had a purple bubble around him. The next had fists of pure lightning crackling around them. The one after him bathed in the same lightning energy that was crackling around his entire body. Another had a hot knife that he was flicking. And the one to that right held a flaming thing in his hands. One had a fan of lightning knives, and the one next to him was a lightning staff. Another one held a bow, but this one's bow was formed out of the same purple energy as the ones with the shield and bubble. And another held twin blades made of the same energy. One was holding a flaming sword, and another was in a well of light. The next ones were floating. They were split into 2 groups. The first group had lightning energy flowing around them. One had a ball of lightning, and the other one had lightning flowing from his hands. The others had purple every. One of them had a massive orb of it in front of them. The other is realizing energy was chaotic, like it was exploding. And that was only a small number of versions, and they all said in one mighty voice, "Be the bringer of peace, they all need you." And that usually is where the dream ends, but this time the fog rose to swirl around him, and he woke up. He woke up in a grass field with a sakura tree next to him. "What the?" he said, looking around. He saw that the grass stretched far, but there were a few things in there. First, a giant lake was a large eland with trees making a barrier from something. The second thing was the teenager that was with that version of him leaning against the tree and looking at him. The third was a bone-white demon with that same demonic mask wearing a sizable black shiakusho with red lining with black hakama. Fourth, curled up and asleep, was that wolf with fire and ice veins. Fifth, in the tree, were those tiny things. Sixth and finally, there was a massive sphere. It was like a small moon. "What is that?" Naruto asked, looking at the sphere. "We don't know," the teenager said as Naruto turned to him. "Your mindscape was a sewer now, thou," he said, looking around. "That would be my doing," a female voice said, and all turned to the sound, and they saw there was a woman that looked in her 20s. She has snow-white hair with a white kimono, but the sash was orange, purple and blue. Eyes of the same 3 colors swirling, with beautiful pale skin. Her bust was at eye cup, Hinata Hyuga's breast size. "Who are you?" the demon asked, and his voice was mine but distorted. "Me, I'm life itself." I'm the mother to all the stars, planets and children. I am the home of many, she was saying, walking past Naruto and the others standing before them in front of the massive sphere. I am peace. I am the order. I am all that is good. I'm the light, but I am called the traveler, she said. This had shocked all of them. None knew what to say. Well, traveler, what is it you want? Naruto had asked her with the others turning to look at her, and now with the now awake Ice and Fire Wolf also gazing at her. Seeing if they would like her answer, she thought over what she would say. I want all fighting to end, she said, looking depressed, gazing at them. I have been fighting for so long. She had told them, looking for older than she looked, and it looked like she was carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, with tears rolling down her eyes. I have been fighting since the start of time, and they say I will continue to fight till the end of time, and then the cycle will start once more. And then it would continue to happen. Her answer shocked them all of the others. No one knew what to say, but Naruto walked forward and hugged her. It's okay. It's okay, he said over and over so that she could get it out of her system. Thank you, she said with her voice strained from the crying. Why are you in me? He asked as the demon burst out in laughter. I need champions, but since my body is in transit, I had to send my soul out, and you are the only one that is worthy of being my host. She had said, then put her hand on his chest. Normally, when I give someone my light, they are either one of three classes. They are called Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. But you can use all three classes. And I will give you a gift that all might chosen to have and will continue to have, she said, holding her hand out, and as a ball of light formed, they started to take the form of a small machine. It hovered in her palm. It had black and red armor within a single blue eye, armory forged ghost shell. I think she will do. She is a ghost, she said as the ghost floated over to Naruto. Hey there, it said in a voice that made something mad. Kushina, where are you so that I can rip you to shreds? A voice yelled out from behind the trees on the island. Is that? Naruto asked the teenager. The Kyuubi, yes, it is, he said to his host. As the ghost hovered over to her partner, the traveler got an idea. It's time for you to be whole and the true Jinchuriku of the Kyuubi, she said as she started to move her hands in a rotating movement as two portals opened. Shinigami Belly. Floating in the belly of the death god was the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, and from the seal that is on him, chakra starts to be extracted from him, and it starts the formation of a nine-tailed fox from his seal. The fox moves his head, and a portal opens, and it flows thou it. Land of Fire, Fire Temple. A young boy is lying on a bed as a portal opens above him, and it starts to draw out dark chakra. Naruto's mindscape. Out of the two portals chakra, come out of they merge into one and flies to the eland where they flies thou the trees and then, the angry voice of the Kyuubi just stops. Now that he is whole. The being of light said before turning to Naruto. Now to make you whole, she said as she once more placed her hand on his chest, and then he felt both powerful and weak, and what he did not know is that he started gaining crimson stripes in his hair and the tips of his hair turned crimson. Well. What was that? He asked her. I have awoken your Uzumaki blood, she had said. With Naruto got his answer, he turned to the others that are in his mind. Who are you lot then? Naruto asked. I'm your Zanpakuto Z #N #G #E #T #S #U #, he said with his name turning to static. I'm sorry, what's your name again? Naruto asked the Zanpakuto spirit. You can't hire my name is because you not ready, he said as he leaned against the sakura tree. I'm you, Inner Hollow, Grand Diablo. The devil said, looking at him. Hi, Diablo. It's nice to meet you. You as well. King, Grand said, moving to sleep by the lake. The name's Wolfskrieger and I'm you, doll, the wolf said, looking at him. Nice you meet you, Naruto said, moving over to scratch the wolf behind his ears. The small thing floated down to show that they were fairies and they all were wearing kimonos. One had a pink kimono with red armor over her. Hi, my name is Bara. One had a gray kimono with white armor over him. Sup. Toge is the name. Next to him is a male in purple kimono with blue armor over him. Hinagaku is my name, sir. The next one W is in a blue kimono with pink armor. Hi, I'm Lily. The next one is a male with a red kimono with yellow armor. I'm Suda. The last one had a black kimono, and he had red and black armor. Tsubaki. That's my name. It's nice to meet all of you, he said to the fairies and just as he was about to leave. Kurama, a voice boomed out from the eland, and everyone's heads turned to the eland. They all moved to the lake, and a bridge rises out of the water to the eland and to the trees. And when they get there, they see the Kyuubi just sitting there. What? The traveler asked. My name. Kurama, that's my name. He had said, looking at them. No one talked, and then the ghost floated over and said, Hi. Your voice is the same as my second Jinariki partner's mother, Kushina Uzumaki, Kurama said, looking over to his host. Your mother and I were somewhat friends. I want to let you know that I would never have attacked Konoha without someone controlling me, he said, looking at the young Uzumaki. Naruto then let this information flow into him. Uchiha, he said after a few moments of silence. Uchiha did this, Naruto noted. Yes, he seemed familiar to me, not Madara. But familiar, he said, looking at the lot that stood in front of him. I have to tell Gigi about this, Naruto said, getting nods from everyone. The next day, Naruto's apartment. As Naruto jumped out, Mindscape he got out of his PJs and into his jumpsuit and new Haori and activated the Omnitrix and turned to his ice moth and slammed it down. Naruto's body gets taller, and his feet turn to the toad foot. His eyes turn buggy and sprout large wings that then fold around him, making a cloak. Big chill, he yelled. You like the new look, the being of light said. Confused, Naruto looked in a mirror and could see that at the bottom of Big Chill's cloak is the flame design. Naruto just chuckled and flew to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. The third was talking to a Chunin. Iruka, I'm going to be taking. For him to learn about his clan, the Sarutobi said. Okay, Lord Hokage, but when will Naruto be back with his year group? Iruka asked. In about a year. And with that, the Chunin left the room, and Naruto solidified. Gigi, I have something to tell you, Naruto said, so Naruto relayed everything he had learned to the Hokage. Not Madara, he said? He asked, earning a nod from the Uzumaki prince. Then that would only be about 19 Uchiha. Has he got anything else? Male. 14 years of age. Sorry kid, that's all, Kurama said to his host. Well, Kurama said male and around 14, Naruto said. That goes from 19 to 5 and 2 Kia, the Hokage said after a few seconds of silence. Has he got a description? Any defining markings, he asked. Mask. One eye hole. His right eye, Naruto said, gazing into nothing. Kid, how did you know? The fox asked. My first memory is looking up at him, and he has a kunai at me, Naruto said, shocking everyone in the room and his mind. That got the Hokage thinking about sharing the same thing with Izumi Uchiha. Naruto the Hokage is worthy to hold out your hand, the traveler said, and as he did, a similar ball of light stalked from a ghost but not his ghost. This one's shell looked like the sun, Sagira. The ghost flew over to the Hokage and said her first words. Eyes up, ninja. She shined with light and enveloped the Hokage when it died down. His youth had returned to him as the ghost floated by him, and he looked at Naruto for an explanation. You're chosen to use the light, Naruto said to the man as Naruto brought out his ghost. This is my ghost Kushina, Naruto said. As the fire shadow looked at his ghost, he thought of only one name, Sagira. After Naruto and Hiruzen talked but that rogue Uchiha, they and their ghosts were sitting in the Hokage's office, and they were waiting for the Anbu to gather all the villagers. So what do we know? Sagira asked her partner. Well, we first have a rogue Uchiha. One that we thought was dead, the Hokage said to her. Then, we have the fact that he could find where I was born, Naruto added. And let's not forget that he controlled Kurama and killed my namesake Naruto's mother, and his father, Kushina said her eye then brightened. Was there any Anbu alive in with Naruto's birth? She asked the Hokage. I think. He turned to his ghost, Sagira, can you get a blue scroll on the shelf? It's labeled A5. He asked her as she flew over to it and got them. Hiruzen, there are 19 of them, shocked everyone in the room. What? The now 20-year-old Hokage asked. That can't be. Unless, he said, looking around the room with Naruto doing the same thing, and they both landed on one spot. Kid, where you're looking is something without emotion. Kurama said, confused, and that got everyone inside Naruto's mind confused, kid. We need to get to it, Kurama said. My powers you not ready for, Wolfskrieger said. When you learn my name, you can start using my power. His Zanpakuto said. The 3 parts of my power are not a ready jet, his hollow said. You need to learn to summon us before we can help you, Tsubaki said, referring to him and the fairies. You haven't gathered enough light yet, the traveler said, and until you handle your dark side, you can't use my power. The fox said to him, and so Naruto turned to the Hokage and shook his head as if saying that he got nothing. But that was unneeded as a shadow moved to lock to the spot. The shadow stood connected to an Anbu with a rabbit mask. Thank you, Shinka, dear. The Hokage said a deer-masked Anbu. The one that is trapped within the shadow is an Anbu wearing a full body cloak and they are wearing a mask with green markings. So it's you, the Hokage said, looking at the shadow-bound Anbu. Is Danzo hoping to assassinate me? He said, not expecting an answer from the Anbu because of his old friend Danzo is known to make his Anbu never break under interrogation. They were rude. Well, what do we do with you? Shinka said before the root slumped and fell. Sagira flew over to the body and scanned it. Dead, she said, and her voice held anger. Why throw away for someone like him, she asked. Sagira? The Sandame asked. I scanned his memory and I could only get a few things from him, she said. His mission was to spy on you to see if there was anything that could get you out of office. There was another route here, but that one reported to this monster that you have your youth back. Sagira told her partner. I see. The fire shadow said, looking over the village and seeing that everyone had gathered. Sandame Sama, the villagers have been gathered, an Anbu with an eagle mask. Thank you, Taka, he told him. Atop the Hokage mansion, Naruto and Hiruzen stood at the top with elders not far from him. Hiru, the only female elder, was saying before shutting up, see her old teammate Young once more. How? An elderly man asked. I will tell you in a meeting later, Hiruzen said, with the elders nodding. As he looked out and saw all of the people of Konoha, and so he walked forward to address them. Great people of Konoha, I have come today to tell you that we have all done a great travesty to the previous Hokage from Lord 4th. All the back to Lord 1st and Lady 2nd, that's right. The third said as he looked at his people, and his words shocked them and the elders. With Lord 1st, he wanted all the village to love their Jinchuriku like they were their partner, child, grandchild, our friend. But what have you done shunning him on for no reason? Lady 2nd said all ninja should answer to their cage and train the next generation without pregidus. And some of the Chunin throwing that in her face, he said, getting angrier and angrier with each word. But you all have been throwing shit upon Lord Fouth, and when he said that, wings of spectral fire erupted from his back, and he floated in the air. He's a warlock, the embodiment of light said. The people of Konoha were not expecting this when they were summoned, and they had never seen him this angry before. When the wings sprouted from his back, he looked like a raging angle coming down to smite them with Kami's wrath. And his former teammates were even more frightened because this was not the professor, nor the savage Saru that Lady Seconds had called him. This was the Kami no Shinobi. And this frightened them because he would take his powers back from them, and Ibiki would have fun breaking those who fell from his grace. You spat on his hope for the Jinchuriku to be seen a hero, and you spat on him as you treated his son like a monster, the Hiruzen Sarutobi said, shocking the village now realizing what they were doing. Still, they thought that they showed many people as monsters, so who was it? You thought that if you killed him, it would please Hid Father, the elders clicked. With beating him, he would grive you grace, all the ninja clicked. Throwing him out of class so he would be killed, so that the Fouth's smile would be on you once more, the students clicked. Starving him, chasing him from stores, he would throw you a party in the afterlife, he scoffed as the rest of the village clicked. His son's name is Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. He is the prince of the land of whirlpools and Jinchuriku of the Kyubi. He is the true heir to the village. He said, Hiruzen, how is he the true heir, an old man with bandages over his face and arm? He is Danzo. For those who did not know, Minato was the son of my students Jiraiya Namikaze and Tsunade Senju. That makes Naruto the great-great-grandchild of the first Hokage, he said, then turned to Naruto loud enough for the village to hear. Naruto, would you like to speak? The young prince walked forward to look over the village, and with his new look, he looked like his father, but that brought more shame on them. Yo, Naruto said, not knowing what to say. Nice weather we're having. He tried to lighten the mood. It did not work. Naruto-sama, we're sorry, an elderly man yelled. From what it looked like, he was the restaurant's owner, the Red Dragon. Please forgive us. A woman in her 20s yelled, and Naruto could tell that she was the owner of the orphanage that kicked him out at the age of 4. And more people keep coming over and over, begging for forgiveness from him. Alright, stop, Naruto said in a voice that held both love and strength. Firm but forceful. The voice of the first, second and fourth Hokage. The voice of a leader. Now I know why you did this. So I can forgive you. But I will not forget, he said as his gaze swept over the crowd, and some swear that when his gaze was on them, they felt strong. Like he was a wall of hope that protected them, and a mighty sword that cut down all that would hurt them. Now mighty people of Konoha rise. All those that fell to their knees suddenly felt empowered and rose. Those that were slouching stood tall, we are the fire. Those words, the Hokage said, that defends the great tree of Konoha. Naruto continued, are the words of the first. He thought as Naruto overlapped with his father and great-great-grandfather. Konoha council room. It was pure chaos with screaming from all over the room, with daemons and why weren't they told? You done? The Hokage asked. Sandame, why weren't we told? Shikaku asked. The main reason, trying to gain power, he said. Now, if Naruto were adopted by the, say, Nara clan, they would have more say in the village than other clans, he told them, then he sighed. Looking at the council, he and their children behind them, he decided to be honest. Now I have to tell you all something that is undoubtedly unseen if it was a sign or not, but a few days ago, I and some others went camping, and one of them was Naruto, he said, gesturing Naruto up. Something landed on Earth, and that thing is called the Omnitrix. Naruto held up his wrist sewing it off, and no one could remove it from him. My son Asuma tried cutting it off with wind chakra. But nothing. And before you speak, Danzo, if it were a weapon, Naruto's mental state would change when he uses it. He said, shutting down the old warhawk. What does it do? A woman in a long white dress with a circle on it asked. She is Mebuki Haruno. Naruto, he said, turning to say, person. Naruto, within full view of everyone, activated it and scrolled to Heat Blast. I want Heat Blast Omnitrix. And slammed it down with a flash of light. The Omnitrix said no. So Naruto's fingers changed from 5 to 4. His clothes turned into an orange jumpsuit with a black stripe down the middle. His skin turned gray, and his head turned bulbous with his eyes turning frog-like. Losing all his hair, he gained a black stripe down the middle of his head. He started to shrink as the Omnitrix dial appeared on his back. And before the transformation was thou, a light enveloped him, and once it was over, he wore a crimson haori with black flames at the bottom. On the back in kanji was the name, Gray Matter, he squeaked. After the flash, no one could see him but heard, for fuck's sake, a high-pitched voice shouted out, and they saw a hopping up on the desk a small frog? Wah! Was a F.A. Larg, the big-boned man said. It's a frog, a blonde-haired man said. No, Inoichi, he's not a frog, Shikaku said, looking at his friend and then turning to Naruto with a smile, watch on the fritz. His answer was a strong line of swearing that could make a sailor blush, and some of the children were shocked, except the young girl behind Sume Inuzuka. She was Kiba Inuzuka. I've heard worse, when she saw her friends looking at her, and her mother laughed at that. So Gray Matter, does this one do? Sume asked. I seem to appear to have extremely high intelligence, and I'm nimble, he said to her. Useful, Shukaku said, looking at the form. What species or do you know, Naruto, he said, shocking everyone. This frog was Naruto. I have yet to look at the USB, he said, getting a nod from Nara's head. You see, Naruto has just turned into an alien. The Omnitrix turns the user into aliens, and this has drawn the attention of two beings, the Hokage said. Who? A man with pale eyes asked. The first, his name is unknown, but his goal is to turn the Omnitrix into a weapon. We have faced his work twice. The first time he sent 3 robots after us. We destroyed them quickly. The next challenge thou was difficult. It sent out a machine tiger that could turn into a sword, and it possessed a girl from the land of noodles. Naruto defeated the machine and destroyed the darkness in it. But the thing that sent it wiped its memory, he said, shocking everyone in the room. And the other, the male elder. The literal embodiment of all the light in the universe. The traveler. That is why I'm younger. The light has truly empowered me, he said. How do you know? Danzo asked as both Naruto and Hiruzen held out their hand, and their ghost popped out. Hey, Sagira said to everyone. It's nice to meet you, Kushina said. This is how, both light bears said. The council was shocked by seeing the small machines floating there. Naruto, I am going to make some ghosts, so you know what to do. The traveler said, and so Naruto held out his hands as a ball of light formed, and more ghosts floated out of the orb of light, and if someone was counting, there were hundreds. What happened? Inoichi asked. The traveler has sent them out to find Chosen, Hiruzen said, looking at the feeling forms of the ghosts. He then turned to the council. Yesterday, after I got back to my office and welcomed the newest members of Konoha, I summoned back my 2 remaining students with a blood clone leading Konoha. Me, Naruto, Jiraiya and Tsunade will travel to the remains of Uzu, collect everything, there and then return, he told them, but first, Naruto must tell you something. Last night, the traveler pulled me into my mindscape. She first made me whole by awakening my Uzumaki blood and made me the true Jinchuriku of Kurama. Now before you say anything, let me continue. He said to see people opening their mouths. After he was whole, he talked to him, no hate, no pity. He told me why he did it. He was controlled when Naruto said that, they all looked confused, then, one by one, head turning to the only Uchiha left in the room. Yes, the Uchiha, but this one was at the time 14, and Kurama said that this Uchiha was familiar to him, but not Madara, Naruto said and, with his hands behind his back, started to pace. Kushina. On my birth, how many Enbu were there guarding me, my mother and my father? 19, she said after a little thought. How many survived? 2, she said shockingly to the council. Sagira, Hiruzen turned to his ghost. What were their names? One was Kakashi Hitaki, but he was sent on their break. Along with the other Yugo Izuki, she said. A dead end. The big-boned man said. No, Lord Akamichi, I think I got someone in mind, Naruto said. Gigi, when the third wars were in their swing. How many Uchiha was dead, he asked. 35, the one that responded was a man with gravity-defying silver hair. He is Kakashi Hitaki. And how many Uchiha fit this description, of a 14-year-old with one Sharingan, a Sharingan in his right eye? Naruto asked as the pieces started to fit together. Only one, Kakashi said, looking down. Obito Uchiha. Kia. Your father's student like me, as the word Kia felt wrong now as the name traitor fitted better. We have a person, but means. Motive? Shikaku asked. Rin, Kakashi said, he loved Rin, and now with me killing her, he wanted revenge. I'm not dead, a female voice said as a woman that Kakashi had known walked in. She has purple tattoos on her cheeks, she was Rin Nohara, and she had a red and white ghost with her with gold accents on it. Destiny Ghost Sundance. This shocked everyone, and they heard thou Kushina. Those that are worthy I will bring back from the dead or choose from the living. The voice of the traveler said. The next day, gate of Konoha. Naruto and Hiruzen stood waiting for both of the remaining Sannin to get there, and waiting with them were Rin. Not that far away 3 people were walking up to the village. The first was a black-haired woman at shoulder length. She had fair skin with a slider form, she had onyx eyes, and she had C-cup breasts. She wore a long bluish-black kimono with white trimmings, held closed by a white obi, and open-toed sandals with low heels. She is Shizune Kato. The next is a woman with bold hair. She had fair skin, a large slider form, hazel brown eyes, she had J-cup breasts. She has a purple diamond on her forehead, and she wears a grass-green haori underneath. She wears a gray, kimono-style blouse with no sleeves, held closed by a broad, dark bluish-gray obi that matches her pants with open-toed sandals with low heels. She is Tsunade Namikaze Senju. The LS1 was a man with long white hair with fair skin. Red marks were going down his face. His attire consisted of a short green shirt, kimono, and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that is visible at his wrists and ankles. He also wore handguards, a black belt, traditional Japanese wooden sandals, and a red haori with 2 yellow circles on each side. He has carried a large scroll on his back, with a horned head protector with the kanji of oil. He is Jiraiya Namikaze. When all 3 walks up to the 3 light bears and 2 look sacred while 1 looks on in awe at the 3. The reason? Hiruzen had his spectral flaming wings out as he looked upon his 2 students in shame. Then there is Naruto with purple energy outlining him. And finally, there is Rin with blue lightning-like energy. It was sparking around her. You are late, the Hokage said with a pissed-off look on his face. Sensei, it takes a while too. The toad Sanin was saying. I said 11 o'clock. It's 1300, the cage said. What took you? Rin asked the youngest woman there. Lady Tsunade and Lord Jiraiya were hungover and said that you could. Shizune was saying before both Namikaze covered her mouth. Is that so? Hyuzen said as his eyes also glowed with the same spectral fire. 5 minutes later, down the road. The two Sanin had about 50 bumps on their heads each. As they walked, they saw there was a large massing of fishermen. The fishermen were going in that direction. Where are you going? Rin asked a passing fisherman. Oh, the Lake of Monsters, the fisherman said, walking past them. Lake of Monsters, Naruto asked, turning to the older ninja. I've never heard of it. Tsunade said, turning to her husband. You, Jiraiya? She asked. Yes. They say that every 100 years, a creature that exists in the depth of the lake, the toad sage had said, looking over to the fisherman. People want to catch it. I know of this creature. Kurama said, it is the spawn of my brother Isobu. My father allowed him for 2 reasons. The first, to have this child, as that child of prophecy would require her. The second, Naruto asked. He wanted grandchildren. And when Kurama said that, Naruto burst out in laughter. Naruto, what is it? Hyuzen asked, and when Naruto told him, he started laughing but then noted that their group was missing someone. Tsunade, where is your husband? He asked her. She looked around and saw Jiraiya going at full speed to the Lake of Monsters and sighed before pointing. Lake of Monsters. The group soon got to the lake. What they had seen could not be unseen. By Kami, Hyuzen called. By the light, Sagira said, looking shocked. It can't be, Naruto said with his brain going into overload. Traveler helps us, Kushina said. By the gods, the Zanpakuto said, looking sick. Wolfskrieger was whining. The fairies were hiding in the sakura tree. That is a devil's work, Diablo said, sitting down depressed. This is the work of the darkness, the traveler said. What is the name of the sage? Kurama said. Why? Rin asked, falling to her knees. This is Ghost 003. We need help. I repeat, we need help. Rin's ghost tried to call for help. Shizune just covered her eyes while Tsunade face-palmed and shook her head. The reason was Jiraiya was in fishing stockings and a vest with a massive fishing rod. What do you think you're doing? The slug Sanin asked. I'm fishing, he said, turning to the lake. And it was a gigantic lake 200 miles long and must have been 1,000 feet deep. Jiraiya, I want to do this for one reason, he said, cutting off his wife and turning to Naruto. There are poachers here, and we need you to look around the lake for this monster. The toad sage said, looking, getting a look from the Hokage. Orochi, Fem Orochimaru, has been trying to make Kakai Genkai. And so they started to make a camp to serve the lake and fish and keep an eye out for Orochi's ninja. Naruto walked up to the lake and turned the Omnitrix into a fish-like man, and slammed it down. His hands and feet grew sharp and gained webbing between his fingers and toes. His jaw grew large, teeth grew out of his lips with an antenna light springing out of his head like an angler fish. His eyes turned to fish eyes, with gills growing on his neck. Out of his elbow and down his neck grew fins. From his face, he grew long catfish-like whiskers. His skin turned to fish-like scales, and a loincloth around his waist. He had a belt with the Omnitrix dial in the center of the belt. The loincloth glowed, and the loincloth now had a red flame design on it. Ripjaws, he yelled. Naruto, as Ripjaws jumped into the lake deep in the trees, a woman with bleach-white skin looked upon the Konoha group. Sensei, damn it. She turned to her right to see a silver-haired woman with glasses on. Kabuto, send the pawns in first, she said. Yes, Lady Orochi, Kabuto said to her. Sensei, save me, a voice that sounded like Orochi said as she looked at Hyuzen as she walked away. Inside the Lake of Monsters. As Naruto was swimming down the lake, the fish in the lake was not just regular fish. There was other type of fish that did not seem right. Some seemed older, a lot older. Kushina, Naruto called out to his ghost. Yes, Naruto, she asked. Contact Gigi. Alright, she said. Edge of the Lake of Monsters. The group was fishing with varying success, and Sagira appeared from her partner. Hyuzen, Kushina is contacting you, she said. Let it thou, he said. Gigi, the voice Naruto said, coming to thou Sagira. Yes, Naruto, the Hokage said. There are ancient fish here, he said, And I mean ancient old as in older than the tailed beasts. This confused the group. Why was there ancient fish in a lake? They should have evolved like other fish. Roar! Something loud shouted from within the lake. Inside the lake of monsters. Naruto and Kushina were looking around for the source of the sound. Do you see it, Naruto? The cage asked. Naruto was about to say, no. But then he saw a large shadow over him and turned to look at the shadow. He saw a giant, bipedal creature with 4 webbed legs and a tail with a fin, and 2 tentacles coming out of its mouth. It has blue eyes, golden teeth, and 6 gills on her neck, and the upper part of her body is dark cyan, while the lower part is olive. Yes, I do. Kushina, send an image. Okay, she said in a weak voice. Edge of the Lake of Monsters. Sagira showed the image of the beast, and around it was a scale that showed its size. Dame, that's big, Shizune said. I've seen bigger, both Sanin had said. Before the cage could spec 45 ninjas with a musical note on there, the head protector said. That this is Nari, their leader said, move along, and you can live. The fishermen got the hell out of there, but the ninja stood their ground. No one moved, and a single leaf fell off an individual branch. It floated down, and as it got in between both leaders, everyone sprung into action. 20 of them got into the lake with 25 staying. As they fought, Rin had brought out a kunai and started to do the stab and run style, and she gathered arcing energy back in her hands and wedded at one of the ninjas, and it began to jump from ninja to ninja. Hyuzen gathered the spectral fire in his hand and flung it at the leader of the ninja, and it turned him to ash. Shizune was speeding in and throwing poisoned senbon at the enemy, attacking them with chakra scalpels. Tsunade was taking them out with her enormous strength, and her husband was just taking them out with the fishing rod in his hands. But more of these ninja kept coming. Hiruzen, Rin, you can use your super now. Both their ghosts said within their partners. Hiruzen and Rin felt the power of the light flow in him start to grow and grow, until it burst forth out of them. Hiruzen gained a spectral flaming sword that appeared within his hand, and he started to let out arcs of spectral fire at the ninja and turn them to ash. While Rin gained a staff made of arcing blue energy staff and ran fast at the ninja and moved through them, turning them to nothing as she did. Seeing that their numbers were being decimated like they were nothing, they started to retreat. Boom! A giant blast erupted from the water. They turned to see the creature with ripjaws riding it with an enemy ninja as both of them were fighting on it. A few seconds earlier, inside of the Lake of Monsters. As Naruto and the creature stared at each other with Kushina's returned, Naruto, multiple slashes alerted them as Naruto turned around and saw ninja swimming at them. Well, look at that, there's 2 of them, one of them said. Lady Orochi would love them both. Another said. And so they attacked with the creature taking out most of them with its claws and using its tentacles to crush the others, with Naruto swimming in and cutting the survivors. So they were winning until one of the enemies got to the creature with Naruto, which is where it leads us. Once the creature erupted from the water, Naruto and the ninja were fighting each other, and Naruto was getting the upper hand until he started to dry out and had to jump into the water. The creature, seeing that its protector, jumped backing, dived after him and then jumped out of the water, followed by Naruto with his claws cutting the ninja. And then, beep, 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 with a flash of light, Ripjaws was now Naruto. He was falling back first into the water. But then he was on something soft and wet. He had a look, and Naruto was riding the creature. Thank you, he said, and it just let out a small roar as if saying, you're welcome. So now, after that, the fight was over. Naruto decided the rest of the day was swimming at the bottom of the lake with the creature that he named Kraken and that it was a she. So Naruto was collecting some things from the bottom of the lake. And then they set off. In a dark place, there were 29 standing there waiting for some word on what to do. They were bounty hunters. One was a bulking figure in black armor. One resembled a fiddler crab with a goldish-brown colored armor, a sideways mouth, 4 scythe-like legs and a giant, powerful pincer for a left hand. A being in armor, his feet are hooved. It has purple pads covering his central joints, a belt, and 4 central lines on his helmet to provide outlines for his face, which are his eyes and mouth. One is a gigantic yellow tank with 1 green eye. Z-metal tank. A massive robotic red dragon. Wide dragon head. The next was a bipedal lion-like being with 2 or 3 claw gauntlets. X-Saber Airbellum. This one was a robot human with green electronic wires sprouting from its fingers. What kinetic puppeteer. Another was a stone creature with flames around him. Volcanic slicer. The next was a being in black and dark purple armor with a red 39 on its shoulder, and it had 2 swords at its waist. Number 39 Utopia Ray vs. A green serpentine dragon with lightning is gathering around it. Thunder Dragon. Another it's a robotic ball. It has a single drill on the top of its head, with 2 drills for arms and treads. Drill Synchron. A green robotic bird jet rocket thing. Vindicate R Gen X. There were 2 yellow robotic dragons with a blue excavator shovel on their arm, a screwdriver thing on the other arm, with a spade-like tail. Power Tool Dragon. A green sizable green creature with stone armlets with a cement mixer tail. Nero Warrior. Next to it is a small pink machine with a clown-like face on it. Nero Cycron. Another is a red robot knight with a flowing cape. Mathmech Edition. A bluestone golem, a cannon arm with fire spewing out. Laval Cannon. Though was a titan of a creature, its skin was pitch black, with crimson eyes and sharp claws. Radian, the multi-dimensional kaiju. The next was a Spinosaurus, but it was blue and red, and its fin was on fire, but there was a collar around its neck. It was being controlled by the next another machine with chains connected to its hands, Jirac Spino and iron chain coil. The next was another machine, and this one was blue and green with skinny blade-like legs, a rocket launcher for an arm and a blade for another, high-speed droid puzzle. The next looked like your stereotypical alien, but it seemed to be composed of gray ooze of some sort, Gradle slime. The next is a demon made of blue fire-wearing jeans. Flamvel Fiend. The next is a dark-skinned being that is wearing Egyptian-style clothing, and he has a creepy smile on his face with a golden ankh hanging around his neck. Exodia Necros. Next was a spider the size of a man with an orb of darkness in the middle, Dark Tuner Spider Cocoon. And I apologize for those with arachnophobia for the image of a man-sized spider. The next is a dark navy blue mechanical serpentine dragon with blue markings and long plugs attached to it. Cyberdark Keel. The next yet another machine. It looked like a pistol, and a dinosaur had an unholy love child, Blowback Dragon. The next is a man-bird. He was wearing samurai armor. He had black wings with 4 blades sticking out of each wing. His head looked like a sparrow's head, and he held a katana in his talon-like hands. Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. As they stood around, a screen showed up with the face of Vilgax. The tryouts start now. The one in bulky armor pulled out a rectangular object and dropped it, turning it into a hoverboard. It hopped on and flew around as drones is released. It pulled out a blaster and started to shoot at them and destroyed them. Next, Vilgax called. The crab-like then walked in as drones flew in. The crab opened its pincer and shot a laser out of it, and then crushed another in the pincer. Next, the one with purple armor walked up, and as the drones flew over to him, lasers folded out and just shot at them. Next, the tank rolled up. 2 cannons popped out and fired large lasers atomizing the drones. Next, the red dragon took off, and as it saw the drones, it unleashed a large amount of electricity from its mouth, destroying them. Next, the lion-like beast just ran up and started to cut down all the drones sent after him. Next, the humanoid robot walked up as one drone flew into range. It threw out one of the green cables at it. The drone turned to the other drones, destroying them, and then electricity flew through the cable and destroyed it. Next, he called once more. The stone creature started to fire out orbs of large magma at the drones. Next, the one with the red 39 walked thou as drones. It grabbed the blades at its waist and cut them in half. Next, the green serpentine dragon unleashed a blast, lighting at the drones that flew towards it. Next, the orb drove up and jumped up and drilled thou the drones. Next, the bird jet rocket flew thou space that just shot down the drones. Next, both yellow robot dragons kept walking. One used their shovel to crush the drones, and the other used the screwdriver to drill the drones. Next, the green creature and the pink robot woke up as the green creature then swallowed the pink robot. Steam started to flow out of the green monster as it destroyed all of the drones before spitting out the pink robot. Next, the knightly robot raised its sword and started to cut down all the drones that fly at it. Next, the bluestone monster raised its cannon and fired a fire blast, turning all the drones into slag. Next, The Titan walked through them, wrestled with a large drone, and then cut down the drone. Next, the Spinosaurus walked out with the small machine, and then the eyes glowed blue, then green. The Collar did the same, and the Spinosaurus unleashed a blast of fire at the drones, destroying them. Next, he calls again. The blue and green robot jumped into action, fired out rockets to destroy some of the drones and then cut down the last one. Next, the gray ooze turned into a human and started to fly the hand signs, and then the air around them turned to arcs of wind and cut down the drones. Next, he yelled. The blue flame demon just held out its hand, shooting out blasts of fire and melting the drones. Next, he shouted once more. The dark-skinned individual had held his hand towards the drones, a beam of light destroying them. Next, the spider walked up the wall and everything that it walked past the drones. The drones started to be getting crushed by something before they just disappeared. Next, the mechanical serpentine dragon slithered through the area of the plugs attached to one of the drones, and it started to fire at the other drones, and then the drone turned its blaster on itself. Next, the gun dinosaur thing opened fire at the drones, eradicating them. Next, he called one final time. The samurai birdman walked up and started to cut down the drones. After a few minutes, the crippled warlord's voice rang out, "You all pass. I want you to find someone," he said as a picture of Naruto, "bring him to me alive or dead. I don't care. The one that brings him to me will get 1 million credits and 1 million glimmer," he said, and so they all left. Land of Fire, abandoned town. Naruto and others are resting after yesterday's incident, where Naruto gained a pet in the form of the Kraken, and they are looking over what Naruto had got from the bottom of the Lake of Monsters. And what he had gotten was a pentagram green tablet that had a blue M with a diamond, a silver helmet with wings on either side, a wooden stick that eradicated power, a green lantern-like object that held green light, a bull in a foreign language with a dragon on the cover, a recipe to make someone powerful, a crate of spices, vials of blood and instructions, 2 chessboards with red and white pieces, a key with the symbol of cancer, a large black box with glowing dots on it that looks to be plugged in somewhere, a giant golden disc, a coin with a dragon-like footprint on it, a bag with a lot of gold rings, a stone key that was the size of Jiraiya, blueprints of a set of armor, a large mirror, 2 large chests of balls with 2 of them seem to be alive, a massive meal book, a stuffed lion toy, 5 crate of bottles of whiskey, 1 giant blue chest with thousands of golden coins, a red crystal that seemed to hover in his hand, a pen with a glowing nib, a large table about 2 meters long and wide, an egg that irradiated heat that Naruto could hear a heartbeat from, 3 coins, 1 red with an eagle, another 1 yellow with a tiger, and the last one is green with a grasshopper, a red gauntlet with a green jewel in the center, a map, 2 rectangular things with a handle, one with ace of white spade and the off with a red ace of spade, a book called The Standard Book of Spells, a deck of cards, a pentagon with the symbol of fire on it, a box of queerite boards, a jewel with 2 stars in it, a metallic cylinder that glowed blue, a small screen that attaches to the air that dows numbers, a vial of some liquid WHTINN, a large box of canny, a flute. The next is a bottle-like object, purple with a gray cross, it looked to be have some metal coating, a chest of lenses, a book called History of Magic, a blue scroll with some kind of kata to do with water, a box of tools and welding gear, a cube with blue glass surrounded by a golden medal, a orange jewel that held a sun mark on it, a book called Most Potent Potions, a glove with golden veins with a golden eye in the palm, a book called Advanced Potion Making, rusted robot, a helmet with a small visor, a recipe for bread, dragon-themed armor with a large sword, a small red device with a small screen and 3 buttons, a vial of a black liquid, a bag full of tubes full of green gas, a jetpack, a small set of drills, another 2 blueprint but this time of a Vickles, a scarf that is made of scales, a robotic eye, a blue pint of a robot, another egg but this one is bigger, a book called The Monster Book of Monsters, a large jar of Lycid, a red book with the mark of a sun on it, a book called Most Macabre Monstrosities, a book that translates the first book, another table that has a round top, a chest of gems, another book and this one is called Advanced Rune Translation, 2 paintings of a robotic animals on a bit of rocks, a chest is full of types of metals, another book that is called Ancient runes made easy, a blue card, a small black wheeled robot, 3 scrolled up papers with ancient writing, a katana, another book, ancient runes translation, a box OD wires and scrap metal tubing, another crate of spices, a crate of fruit, a book called Asiatic Anti-Venoms, 2 massive blue Cyrosol, a ring with foreign markings on it, a summoning contract, a broadsword, a crate of colored cabbage, a laptop, small book on grooming, ninja scroll that holds 2 eyes of the Uchiha, a chest of gold bars, a box of computer chips, a doubled sword made of a golden metal, art Sipley's, another map, another robotic eye, a robot C arm, another robotic arm, another scroll of Kata but this one is green, a book called Book of Gods, 2 chests of honey, a set of black armor, and finally book on automail. Dame kid, you sure got a lot, Jiraiya said as he sealed all of the things in scrolls. I know, but I have a feeling that it will help me, Naruto said as he held one of the rectangular things and he gave Rin the other one. Naruto B. Tsunade was saying before a bang went off as smoke came from the rectangular thing and a hole was now in a tree not far from them. Careful, she finished as she looked at the hole. Naruto looked at the thing in his hand and said, I'll call it a hand cannon. A perfect name if I do say so myself, Rin said, holding her hand cannon. Her one had the white spade on it. We need to practice, thou, she then said, looking over to the abandoned town and then got an idea. Tsunade, can you make a set of dummies for me and? She said before looking at youngest and then nodded. My future husband, to test out these hand cannons. They all looked at her weirdly when she said that Naruto was her future husband. What do you mean by that? Tsunade asked. Naruto is going to be put under CRA because of how greedy the council has gotten, Rin said as she looked over at the horizon. He is going to need someone that will help him thou everything. With Obito attacking the village, so he's a no, Kakashi has turned into the council's pet, also a no and me being the only student from Sensei that cares for Naruto. She then turned to Tsunade. I'm fiscally the same age as Naruto. He will need help, and the council will only send gold diggers. You're right, Hiruzen said as he looked at Naruto. He has been under CRA, he said, shocking everyone. Yesterday, after we left, the council put you under that law. Can they do that? Jiraiya asked. Yes, with the power that they now have. He said sadly, luckily, Sume Iunzuka has put bother her children and herself up for you. With that said, Jiraiya started to have a nosebleed. What, was all Naruto could say, with his race both crimson and white at the same time. After some time, Tsunade made some dummies for Naruto and Rin to test. Ready, the slug Sanin said. Both Naruto and Rin stood 5 yards away. Aim. They both steadied their hand and feet. Fire, she called. And with a pull of the trigger, bang. 2 loud bangs rippled through the air, as there was now 1 hole in each dummy. As Tsunade examined the hole, Jiraiya examined the coin with the footprint, but then his danger senses went off and started to look around. Sour, a ninja with a black ninja uniform, brownish beige flak jacket with shoulder pads, cloth wrapped around their head and mouth. Their feet are like putty with them being squished. Their skin had a gray tint to it. Sensei, Jiraiya called. I know, the Hokage said as he saw a weird stone, bone creature watching them with fire erupting from its mouth. I got 2 over here, Shizune said as she saw 2 dragons, one made of metal and the other of scales. I see 3, Rin said as she noticed a crab thing, a hulking green monster and a pink propane canister. I have 1, Naruto said as he glanced at a rabid beast-man thing with 6 claws, 3 per hand. And I have 2, Tsunade said as she looked at a small being riding a giant reptile with a flaming fin. The leaf ninja then turned to each other, nodded, and jumped into action. The 2 dragons flew in with one of them, opening its mouth and breathing out lightning at them. Naruto's eyes flashed purple for a split second as he then started going through the hand seals, ox, dog, rat, he called, Fujinheki, swift wind wall. Ha called as the wind began to form around him, making a wall of swirling wind covering him entirely. As it knocks away the lightning, and when the wall dissipates, Naruto is no longer there. Look what you did. You studied reptiles, the maniacal dragon said with a deep, synthesized voice. Be quiet, the other dragon said in a feminine style voice, you know nothing. She then took off to find her prey. Hiruzen started bounding at the stone, bone creature. It does the same at him, Sweden. Suijinheki, water release. Water formation wall. The Hokage calls as he spits out a huge wall of water that the creature runs into. It let out a roar of pain it then heard. Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu, water release. Water dragon bullet technique. The Hokage said after he was done flying through 42 hand seals at a rapid rate with the water becoming an Eastern-style dragon. The water dragon then zoomed in and crushed the stone, bone creature into nothing. Not before letting out a molten ball of lava that flew overhead and hit the grade-tinted ninja, turning him into a statue. Tsunade ran up before she had to dodge a laser blast coming from her right, and it turned out to be a humanoid with purple armor. At #pound and $$ at hash and $pound tilde? It asked her. What? She said. He asked, where's the Omnitrix? The crab thing said in a lazy tone. He then turned to her, so where is it? He asked with pincer opening menacingly. She tightened her hand and punched the ground, kicking up a lot of dust, and then she punched the one in the purple armor and sent him flying through an abandoned house and jumped away from the crab, as it opened its claws and fired a beam of light. Shizune ran up to the small pink propane can, and then, before she could get to it, the green monster ate it, and steam started flowing out of it at an accelerated rate. The green monster then saw her disappear before it felt something on its leg. It's then dragged down below the ground with a call of, Doden. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, earth release, double suicide decapitation technique. Shizune was above ground. The monster trashing around it started to expand and started to get bloated. Shizune then started to run, and then, boom, the hulking beast exploded. She then turned around and saw a colossal demon thing going to swipe at her, but three things flew past her head, digging into its hand. She then turned around and saw Rin, with a massive smile on her face running up to her, being trailed by a rabid lion human thing running after her with a few missing claws. Hi, she said as she ran past them with the rabid thing in tow. What the? Both ninja and demons said, looking at them as they passed, then turned to each other and shrugging, and returned to their fight. Jiraiya was running at the putty ninja, now a stature, but it started getting crushed by nothing. Then a human-sized spider tore itself out of the spider, and then he fell to his knees like gravity was pushing him down and crushing him, and no matter how hard he tried, he could not get to his feet. Foods is mines, the spider said as it was getting closer to the toad Sanin and just as it was 3 feet away from him. The coin that had the footprint on fell on the floor, it started to glow a faint green that traveled over the ninja, and he blacked out. Jiraiya's mindscape. Jiraiya was by a lake similar to the Lake of Monsters, but you could not see the other side. Is anyone there? He called after looking around. So you're my wielder. A male voice said, and as he looked around, he saw a male teenager with a green vest and black tracksuit bottoms. He had tan skin, black hair and piercing green eyes. To think that I would have another, he said as he walked over the lake and stood over the water, and in the water, beneath him, 2 blue eyes started to glow. Use me, he said as his form changed to a dragon-like creature. Abandoned village. The spider was now a foot from the ninja. Then the green light got brighter. The light then started to die, and as it did, Jiraiya started to stand, and the coin floated up to his palm. He grabbed it, taking the form of a large dagger with few flaws and parts attacking it. Use me. The dragon roared out once more as Jiraiya jumped at the spider, shocking it. It increased gravity and Jiraiya started playing with it as a golden shield appeared around him. He just walked forward, ignoring the now frightened as his eyes glowed an emerald green. Stays away, the spider said, backing up, but Jiraiya kept advancing. He took the flute dagger from his mouth. The blade started to glow green, and with a quick slash, the spider is dead. The spider's core then started to get sucked into itself before nothing was left except an orb of darkness that sank into the shadows, realizing a shock wave of darkness. Rin's still running, but now she had a bluestone golem thing shooting at her, and it was with the rabid lion human thing that was again running after her, and it's currently missing all of its claws. With Naruto, he was sneaking around to attack and then felt something getting pointed at his back. He turned around to see a bulky figure in black armor. Don't try it, it said in a deep voice. Can I know the name of my killer? Naruto asked, looking at it, gathering chakra in his feet. I'm not going to kill you, it said, and my name is Tetrax, it said, removing the blaster from Naruto's back. Well, Tetrax, why are you here? Naruto asked as he turned around. To make sure that Vilgax doesn't get the most powerful weapon in the universe, it said, and its head armor retracted into the armor showing his head is composed of green crystal. Before either could speak, they both pulled out their respective weapons and pointed behind each other. Behind Tetrax is a robotic dragon with a cannon for a head. Behind Naruto is a robot with a cannon for one arm with a blade for the other. Friends of yours? Naruto asked the crystal being. Bounty hunters, he said, looking at the robot behind Naruto. The one behind you's called HSR Puzzle, and the one behind me is called Blowback Dragon. The dragon looked at them and spread his legs, aimed at them with the tip of its barrel glowing white and fired. Naruto got pushed away by Tetrax as the blast went and hit HSR Puzzle, and it fired back at the dragon. Naruto, still gathering chakra in his feet, ran up to the gun dragon and kicked it, leaving a dent, and he activated the Omnitrix, turned to the manta ray alien, and slammed it down. He starts to grow a tail, his skin turns red, he develops 2 yellow horns, and his fingers turn into 2 elongated fingers. A membrane forms from his arms to his tail, and his body is flattered. His back shone, leaving a tattoo of black flames on his back. With a shout of, "Jetre," his transformation is done. Naruto turned his head to the robot with the blade arm and shot out a laser from his eyes shooting at the cannon arm. A rocket appears in one of the holes, making it explode, blowing HSR Puzzle's arm off, and Tetrax's arm turns into a blade and cuts off the blade arm. The eyes of the HSR glowed red, then blue, and back to normal. Tetrax pulled out his blaster. "Yes, you tell him," he said before pulling the trigger and blowing its head off. Naruto and Tetrax turned their head to the other robot, shooting lasers at the dragon and blowing it up. "Good aim," they said to each other. Boom, an explosion rippled down the ground, and both aliens ran out to see the small human, Shizune, standing over the dead Titan demon. Before they could comment, they saw Rin and her ghost, whom she named Sun Days, getting chased by the rabid lion human thing. A bluestone golem, that was missing its cannon and a small ball with a drill horn. "Hey, Naruto and Crystal Guy," she said, running past them and getting chased by her little party before turning around, glowing in spectral fire and shooting all 3 of them, disintegrating them. "You gonna help?" Naruto asked, seeing more bounty hunters. "Yay," was all Tetrax said. Shizune, now that she had killed the Titan demon, turned into a warrior with 2 swords and a red 39 on its shoulder. "You killed Kenny, you bitch," it yelled as it ran at her, banishing Shizune from going at it with her chakra scalpels. "Oh, shut up," she yelled at the being as they had their fight. Jiraiya, after dealing with the dark spider, walked out to see a dark-skinned being looking at him, holding an orb of light in its hands. "You're not going to let me go, you?" he asked, gripping his new weapon. It shook its head. "I thought so," the sage said, dodging the ball, now a beam of light and attacking with the dagger. Tsunade, now after having lost the crab and humanoid in purple armor, turned a corner and could see the reptile with the flaming fin and the small machine and jumped at the robot. Hiruzen was running to join a battle, then lighting around the earth beneath his feet. "Running from a fight?" a voice called out, and as the Hokage turned, he could see a man in a bird costume with samurai armor. Running to one, he stated before biting his thumb and summoning Enma, who turned into his staff form and got into his fighting stance. "Can I get your name?" he asked. "Chidori," he said, holding his katana out. "Your name?" the birdman asked. "Hiruzen," the cage said as they both jumped at each other, and as they passed each other, the cage gained a substantial cut in the front of his clothes. Chidori had been in 2 halves, with the top of his body in one half, the legs another. "See you in the afterlife," Hiruzen said, coming forward. Tetrax was running to aid the ninja and the lightning dragon. "Hello, traitor," she said before lunging at him. Rin was now in a literal firefight. She was with her hand cannon versus a demon made of flames, and it looked like she was winning. "Well, it is in my memory. Kirigakure no Jutsu, hiding in mist technique." She calls as a thick mist starts to rise around the demon's form, and then all the heat cools down. As the mist fades away, Rin is standing over the dead form of the demon. Back with Shizune, she has broken her opponent's swords, and she had cuts to her kimono. "My blades," the dark armored figure said. "My clothes," Shizune said. "You bastard, bitch," and their fight starts once more. After flying and shooting for a bit, Naruto drew a bit of attention from 6 roaming robots, so he changed forms to gray matter. The small alien first made his way into the red nightly robot, and he started changing its circuits to attack the other robots. The robot knight turns to the dragons, cuts their arms off and then goes for their heads. Tsunade jumped and was currently fighting the reptile. She then made chakra scalpels and tried to cut at the small robot. "You won't win," it said as it jumped away, and she cut the collar off the reptile once it jumped. Said the reptile, ripping into the robot and turning to Tsunade. She tensed. It licked her face like a dog. Back with the perv, and it was a case of a fistfight with the dark-skinned being, with Jiraiya grabbing the dagger as it glowed green, and it let out a blast of green flames at the dark-skinned creature, burning it to ashes. Shizune, now with only the top half of her kimono, showing that she was wearing a black lace thong, standing victorious over the dead body of the armored figure. "Nice thong," Rin called to her as she walked up to the medic. "Thanks," she said back with a crimson face. Before they could rest, Plugs shot past them and joined to the downed armored figure. "Power," something said as the maniacal machine dragon burst out of the ground. "Yes," the voice of their cage said with his spectral flame sword cutting the dragon up into pieces. "But also your undoing," he said, walking out, and once he had seen Shizune, a nosebleed launched him like a rocket. "Shizune, defeater of titans and cages," Rin said as Shizune drooped her head and fell to her knees, ashamed at showing her leader her undergarments. Naruto was using the brainpower of gray matter to destroy the robots, and once the puppeteer robot, he started to make the robot self-destruct. "Two down, two to go," he said as he ran at the crab and ripped out some wires, making sparks fly and deactivate its armor. Naruto then jumped from the crab to the purple one and started ripping wires out of its jetpack, making it fly into the crab and knocking both of them out. Beep, 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 the Omnitrix flashed, and then Naruto was back to being human. Naruto, along with Rin, tied up the two that were still alive, and the two reaming robots came up and combined. The red dragon's wing detached and disappeared. The body then merged with the tank. Before it could attack, it was then melted by the flames of the reptile that Tsunade and Jiraiya were riding. "Where's Tetrax?" Naruto asked, looking around for his new friend, and then a large crystal emerged from behind a house with Tetrax walking out. "I see you got 6-6 in crab," he said, looking over to the bound-up bounty hunters. "I'll send them away," he said, typing something on his arm, and both bounty hunters beamed up. "What will happen to them?" Shizune asked. "My ship will go put them in some sort of hold," he said. "What about the space police?" Naruto asked. "There is none," Tetrax said, shocking everyone. "Vegetax wiped them out to test his power. And every time one starts up, he crushes it," Tetrax said, looking at the ninja and then zoning on Naruto. "No one has ever stood against him for longer than a day. But you have done so for 5 days so far," he said. "What will you do?" Hiruzen asked him. The crystal alien stayed quiet. "You could join us," Naruto said, looking at him. "With your help, we could effectively help the universe." "So will you?" he asked. "Yes, I think I will," Tetrax said as they all walked off. Our small group of ninja and aliens was set down for the night, with Jiraiya and Tetrax setting up the tents. Tsunade and Shizune are cooking with some of the food and spices that were in the lake of monsters. Hyuzen and Rin were getting the fire going, and Naruto was trying to fix the rusted robot as gray matter. "So I had to get his wire and connect it to here." Naruto's voice was heard through the outer shell of the robot. "To set the quick release full system, this needs to go there. The recharge port needs to be rewired," he said as he jumped out of the robot and walked over to the boxes of parts. "Wires, wires. Ah, there you are. Oh, an R2 astromech droid," Textrax said as he walked over. "What are the problems?" he asked, sitting down near the droid and helping Naruto build it. "The AI is still functional, almost all of the inner circuitry is ruined, and most of the inner." Naruto started. "Beep, beep, beep. Extras are rusted but are functional," he finished. As both human and alien were working on the droid, Hyuzen walked over to them with the thoughts going through his head. "Naruto, how did you know all those jutsu?" he asked. "I don't know," Naruto said, "but I have a theory," the Jinchuriku said, turning to the Hokage. "When the traveler sealed herself in me, she made me the full Jinchuriku of Kurama. I think that I got all the jutsu that the users have and the knowledge of how to do them," he continued. "I see," the cage said as Naruto turned back to the droid. As they worked on the droid deeper in the forest, A dark purple swirling portal opened with a woman with long crimson. She has blue eyes, a rounded face, and pale skin with an eye-cup breasts. She was wearing a white kimono with a flower pattern and had a massive slash in her clothes with blood seeping out. "Have to find help," she said as bat wings sprouted out of her back and then flew off. A few minutes later, a fire started to make a pentagram on the grounds, and a massive green arm erupted out of and grabbed the ground and pulled itself out. Back at the camp, Naruto and Tetrax were tinkering with fixing the droid, with Naruto turning back into gray matter to do the internal work, with Tetrax asking questions about the planet. "So you people can use the energy that is within you to do anything?" he said to the slug Sanin. "Yes, and many people have a single element while there are some with 2 to 3 elements," Tsunade said as she had some soup, "and then you have the clans. The Uchiha are known, like the Sarutobi clan, to have great control of Kaiten, but they also have the Dojutsu, the Sharingan. Another with a Dojutsu is the Hyuga and Uzumaki clans," she said to the crystal alien. "Dojutsu?" he asked her. "The clans have Ijutsu that do something different," Hiruzen said. "Having some soup, the Sharingan can copy any jutsu they see. The Hyuga has the Byakugan which can see the chakra points within the body, and finally, the Uzumaki clan has the strongest one called the Rinnegan. No one knows the true full power of the Rinnegan." "So Naruto has the..." Tetrax started. "No, he has to unlock it," Tsunade said. "Dojutsu is unlike other Kekkei Genkai and Kekkei Mora, they just need something to unlock it." After a few seconds of silence, some sounds were coming from the droid. Beep tilde WHRL, the droid said as Naruto called out of it. "You fixed it," Jiraiya said, looking at the droid. "Yay," Naruto said as the Omnitrix timed out, turning him back to human. "It was not that hard. It is one down," he continued looking at the laptop that he had gotten as he started downloading the information from the USB. "So Tetrax, who is this Vilgax?" Rin asked him as she gazed at the stars. "Vilgax is the worst of the worst. He has destroyed more planets than he is concerned about and wiped out countless attempts at making a police force. He is a monster, and nothing can stop him," the Petrosapien said. No one knew what to say until Naruto spoke up. "I'll make the next one, and this one won't fail," he said with a fire in his eyes and with a stare of a million men, as his eyes had a hint of purple to them from all the fighting. "I know you will," Hiruzen said, looking at the small boy and seeing the boy's parents behind him. "Where do you start?" Jiraiya asked the young prince. "People that are open-minded. Not just Konoha, we need the whole world," Naruto said, looking up. "Well, start with Konoha, those who don't care about looks, forms or where they are from." "That will be difficult," Rin said. Sensei sent Iwa into fearing his name. "Kiri is afraid of the name Uzumaki," she said, listing off villages. "Kiri also has the bloodline wars going on," the Toad Sage said, "and let's not forget Kumo has not once but twice tried to steal Konoha's bloodlines." He continued, "Soon it treats their Jinjuriku like a monster and tries to kill him every day," Tsunade said. "The same could be said of the Taki's Jinjuriku." "I know. That is why I have an idea," Naruto said. "After we get back to Konoha, Naruto said, pointing to the Sannin, Shizune, Rin and Tetrax, will go from village to not only gain allies for Konoha but the police as well," he said. "Not a bad idea," Shizune said, "but where do we start?" "Iwa will want him dead, or we could have a political marriage with Naruto and a few of their kunoichi," Rin said. "Kiri," Tsunade said, "we'll go to Kiri." This shocked all the humans. "Why that village?" Tetrax asked, not knowing what is so shocking. "Well, we will not only stop the rebellion, but Konoha can also gain Kiri as an ally, and we properly start this make space police," she said, looking over the small group. Hiruzen thought this over and picked something that was on his brain, the bloodline civil war. "With Yagura the 4th Mizukage has all those with Kekkei Genkai executed," he said. "If we fail, he will turn his eyes to Konoha." "You worry too much," his ghost said to him. "In the ninja world, if you are paranoid, you live," the cage said, looking at her. Sky above the camp, the girl with red hair was flying, trying to find help. A monstrous roar echoed out of the air that shocked the trees with shock waves. "Raw!" The girl turned around to see a gigantic monster with its eyes locked onto her. "He let out one of the wicked ones," she said with her voice drenched in fear. She looked upon a giant green-skinned being with bone-like armor over its arms and head with massive black wings, and its eyes were a piercing demonic red. "The wicked Dreadroot," she said as the monster slapped her out of the sky. The camp. The group was getting ready to sleep when an enormous roar moved through the air. Raw. And not long after, a red-haired girl is thrown at them with blood seeping through her clothes. "Run," she said weakly. Raw. The same roar erupted out, and it sounded like it was getting closer. They all got ready for a fight, and a gigantic figure burst through the trees showing that it was a green monster with bone armor. "What the?" Jiraiya said. "The wicked Dreadroot, one of the wicked monsters that obey one of the rules of hell," the girl said. "So this thing is a demon?" Shizune asked as the monster just stood there looking at them. "No, that is no demon. Demons have a somewhat defining look. That thing," the redhead said, "is an artificial being made from the bodies of fallen beings and souls of shadow." Naruto started to run up to it and slammed down the Omnitrix. "No, don't," she yelled at him. Naruto starts to grow as his sink turns into a brown scale-like plating, his neck becomes more extended, and he starts turning into a dinosaur-like humanoid. He gains spikes going down his back to his tail. Light enveloped his back as it turned into his Hiyori with ripped-off sleeves with kanji of the name of the alien called Humungosaur. He yelled as he jumped and punched it in the head, but turned to him and backhanded him, sending him flying overhead through trees. "Ow," he said. "What the?" the girl asked, looking at Naruto. Tetrax turned his arms into blades that ran up to it, with Shizune doing the same with chakra scalpels, but as soon as they cut it, the cut started to regenerate. "You need to seal it," the girl said. "Seal it in a stone tablet. Then and only then can you beat it." "Good to know," Naruto said as he started to grow to his full height. "Can you seal it?" he asked the girl, and when she nodded, he turned to the Toad Sannin. "Pervy Sage, can you make a tablet for her seal?" "I can try," he said as the other went and attacked the monster. Rin ran and activated her light as her arc staff papers in her hands as she ran up and started to hit it and shock it, and as it was going to swat her away, Naruto landed a punch to its head. Doden. Doryuden, Earth Release, Earth Dragon Bullet. Hiruzen, called a dragon's head made of mud, came forth from the ground and started shooting at the wicked Dreadroot. Tsunade joined her sensei, setting the mud bullets on fire with Kaden. Karyuden, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Bullet. As she breathed out a large breath of fire. "I know that I need the snake hand seal, but what else?" Jiraiya asked. "Add the boar seal," Shizune said as he sprang off Naruto's back and cut at the horns on the monster's helmet. "Next, use monkey," the cage said, summoning forth his light and started sending out arcs of spectral flames. "After that, use rat," Rin said, ducking below a swipe and firing a few rounds into the monster. "Add the seal of the dragon after it," Tsunade said, punching the wicked Dreadroot. "Add the tiger seal next," Tetrax said, slicing at the arm of the Dreadroot. "Finish with the snake, and then the clap hands seal," Naruto said, shoulder barging the wicked Dreadroot, and as it regained its footing, it decked Naruto. "Okay, let's do this," Jiraiya said as he started to go through the hand seals. Snake, boar, monkey, rat, dragon, tiger. Sankei claps his hands in the final seal. Sugoi Sakibin, great stone tablet, he called as a massive stone slab burst out of the ground as the girl started chanting in a foreign language. Ra magna virtutis signa det bestium, lucient super me, obelisk omnipotens prohabere retro acquiae tergo, comminuet adfligit me inimicus, slifer versus aorum miseritor, talem me, signum hoc monstrum. Oh great, Ra, grant me strength to seal this beast. Shine upon me, almighty obelisk, stop this monster. Crush my enemy. Gracious Slifer strikes them. Empower me. Seal this monster. She said as crimson and black energy started to flow around her hands. It took the form of demonic skulls, and it shot at the wicked Dreadroot and wrapped around its arm. "I need to pull it in," the red-haired girl said. "Tetrax, roll up into a ball," Naruto said to the Petrosapien. Tetrax did this, and Naruto threw him at Dreadroot, knocking it towards the stone tablet. Tsunade then jumps in and punches it at her full strength, hitting it a bit more to the tablet, and Naruto at a double punch to the monster's head. Both Rin and Hiruzen threw their grenades, and when they exploded, kicking it back, it was only a few feet away from the tablet. Shizune gathered all her chakra in her arms and punched the wicked Dreadroot, forcing it closer to the tablet. The girl started to move her hands in a rotated manner as the crimson and black energy started pulling in the wicked dreadroot to the tablet and it began to get sucked into it. Rias Gremory, they will find Gronyu, and you will be dragged back to him, Dreadroot said as its voice was like thunder rumbling. None of you can save her. When you can't even save yourself, it said as it was finally sealed in the tablet, as its outline was engraved on the tablet. The no-identified Rias Gremory fell to her knees breathing deeply as Naruto still as Humongousaur, standing over her. So who are you? He asked her. I am heiress of the Gremory clan of the 72 Pillars. I'm Rias Gremory. I'm a devil, she said as bat-like wings sprouted from her back. A devil? Kushina asked as she materialized next to Naruto. Yes, hell or the underworld. Whatever you call it, fiends, archfiends, demons and devils, she said as her wounds started to heal. Devils are the top of the food chain in hell. So why did they send the wicked Dreadroot after you? Naruto asked, shrinking down to his base size. Political marriage. But unlike you human political marriages, we do it to stay alive, she scoffed. Normally they ask their son or daughter, but my mother wanted it, so I ran away, and my fiancé sent it, she said. Beep 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 whirl beep, the droid said as it got closer. We forgot about you, Naruto said. Sorry about that, he said to the droid. What do you want to do? Naruto asked Rias. Well, demon law states that I must marry the one that saved me, she said, looking at Naruto. But, beep beep beep, and in a flash of light, Naruto was back to being human. You already have a fiancé, he said. Yes, that would be true, but it is an ancient law. And my home family tree now has you on it as my fiancé. Hell, Gremory Mansion. A brown-haired woman was sitting in a high-back chair. She was looking out of a window at her garden when a crimson-haired man burst into the room. Venilana my dear, we have bad news. The man said. Yes, Venilana turned to him. The family tree, was what he said as both of them moved to it. And there is with their daughter was there, and she was connected to someone new. Zeoticus, why is she? The woman asked. He looked at her and then turned back to the family tree. The ancient law. Was what he said. You mean that she will have to marry a human? Yes. As they looked at the tree, it said. Rias Gremory less than to be married to Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki greater than, Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki less than to be married to Rias Gremory greater than. Back at the camp, Naruto and the others were mulling over this information. They all were around a fire. So I had to marry you? Naruto asked. Yes. Are you okay that Naruto has to marry multiple women? Kushina asked. Yes. And you don't mind that he is a Jinchuriku of Kurama no Kyuubi, Hiruzen said. That's right. And is the first ever Jinchuriku of the Traveler, Sagira continued. Yep, Rias said, popping the P at the end. You don't mind that he can turn into aliens, Jiraiya said after the ghost of his sensei. I find it cool. What about his plan to make an intergalactic police force? Shizune asked. I can help, she said. How? Tetrax asked. When I'm strong enough I will get evil pieces I can reincarnate humans to turn them into devils, she answered. Beep, the droid asked. No, I will only turn those that want to be turned, she said. What do you want to do? Tsunade asked. Follow Naruto, she answered. After a few more questions, they all went to bed. Hell, unknown location. A blonde-haired man was in a red suit and a white dress shirt. He was sitting on a throne made of some kind of blame crystal, staring at a screen of flames showing Naruto and his group setting down for the night. Marry a human, he said. A human? He spat the word out as if it was venom. Flames started to light the area around him. It showed cages that held monsters of many kinds as he clutched his fist. You will be mine, he said as the flame screen faded out as he got up off his throne. He moved to a gray-furred werewolf wearing blue armor that had a Gatling gun on its shoulder. Next, he said as he gazed at the armored werewolf, get my queen. He told it as a flaming pentagram burned beneath it. Rias Gremory, his voice echoed out, I will have you. Land of Earth, graves of the earthbound. The wave of shadows was from the spider that Jiraiya had killed and moved over all the lands. That is, until it came across a gigantic outline of a spider. And the outlining burst into purple flames, and from within, a spider made of darkness and shadows with red tribal markings over it. It then sank into the shadows, leaving nothing, and the outline is gone. The world's end, land of demons. A man with a black cloak was sitting at the bar. His arm glowed purple, showing the spider outline in the land of Earth. So it is time, he said as a spider landed and sank into the palm of his hand. He turned around to look at the patients at the bar. Outside the world's end, a purple light started to emit out of it before it then consumed in purple flames before it was destroyed by the same humongous spider made of both darkness and shadow. This world will be bathed in shadows. The next day, with Naruto's group, 2 hours away from the land of whirlpools. The group moved forward and got on a boat, and after 2 more hours, they could see the land of whirlpools. The home of my clan, Naruto said, looking at the island. That's all for now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.